It didn't start as a dream. No little girl grows up wanting to answer phones and fake smile through stress migraines. But people always said you had a nice voice, that you were so put together, that you seemed like someone who should work up front. And that's how it starts. Not with ambition, with expectation. You're 19 or 20, maybe fresh out of school. You need money. You apply for a front desk job because the listing says no experience required. And honestly, you're good with people. Polite, clear-spoken, able to hide frustration behind a smile. You dress well, you're organized, you're perfect for it. First day, they teach you how to transfer calls, how to buzz someone in, how to greet clients with the kind of warm tone that makes them feel important, but not too comfortable. You learn quickly that the desk is your territory, but the power isn't. You're the first one in and the last one to leave. You turn on the lights, brew the coffee, print the schedules. You keep pens in the right place and candy in the jar. You memorize birthdays even when no one remembers yours. You're the glue, and everyone assumes you like it. At first, maybe you do. There's structure. You're good at remembering names, managing calendars, smoothing over tension. You take pride in making things work. There's a rhythm to it. And when everything runs smoothly, you feel useful. But slowly, something shifts. People stop looking you in the eye. They bark names, not hello. Clients assume you're a temp. Coworkers assume you're beneath them. You're not called by your name. You're the front desk girl, like your entire existence is a prop. And you notice things. How the women in the office are judged on outfits, how the men flirt or talk over you, how your male boss praises you for being sweet but never skilled. How when someone screws up a meeting or a file or a call, the blame floats downstream, to you. But you're not allowed to be angry. Receptionists can't have bad days. You can't be tired, can't be short, can't be honest. You're expected to absorb all the mess and reflect back calm. Always. You think about leaving, but what else pays the bills right now? What other job lets you slip in with no hard credentials, but still asks you to carry the emotional weight of an entire office? You start hearing it more often. You're so good with people. You'd make a great assistant. You're exactly what we need, someone reliable. But what they really mean is someone we can dump everything on. You're not running the business, but if you stopped showing up tomorrow, the place would fall apart. And still, nobody sees you. You get the Christmas gift cards, the occasional thank you, the birthday cake no one remembered until the last minute. But the promotion, that goes to someone in marketing. The raise, that's for the sales team. You're told to smile more. And somehow, you do. Because you've been trained to smile from day one. The phone rings before you even sit down. Then the door buzzes. A delivery, a walk-in, an early client. Your boss forgot to unlock the conference room again, and now it's your problem. It always is. You juggle 1,000 micro-crises before 9 a.m., and no one notices, because that's the job. You're the human buffer between chaos and calm, and you're expected to be perfect at it. The hardest part? None of it's in the job description. They hired you to greet visitors, answer calls, and maybe schedule appointments. But somewhere along the way, you became the office's emotional garbage can. Everyone drops their stress on you. Clients, coworkers, even managers. You're expected to listen, to soothe, to fix. Never to push back. You're the office therapist, tech support, complaint department, and lost and found. All rolled into one. And somehow, they still treat you like the least important person in the building. The worst moments are when you mess up, or when they think you did. One misrouted call, you're incompetent. One missed calendar alert, you're careless. One rude client you didn't coddle enough, you're unprofessional. But when you save a meeting, when you catch a scheduling error, when you calm down an angry customer who was screaming before they even stepped through the door, that's just doing your job. The thank yous are rare. The blame is instant. And then there's the comments. You're too pretty to be behind a desk. Are you the secretary or the manager's wife? You must get hit on a lot. It's all said with a smile, like you should take it as a compliment. But it doesn't feel like one. It feels like you're on display. Like your value is based on how you look in business casual, not what you handle before lunch. Sometimes it's worse than comments. Sometimes it's stares that linger too long, hands that brush too close. You report it, or think about reporting it. But the moment passes. It's awkward. You're told to ignore it, told not to make things weird. You start carrying yourself differently, more guarded. You keep sweaters on the back of your chair to cover up when needed. You become a professional in boundary management, even though no one trained you for that either. Lunch breaks? You take them at your desk. You're lucky to get a full 30. You're always on, because what if someone walks in? What if the phone rings? You never really leave. The worst part? You start to internalize it. You stop seeing yourself as skilled. Stop imagining a way out. You start believing the narrative that this is all you're qualified for, that you're just the girl at the front, that this isn't a stepping stone, it's a landing spot. And yet you still show up, on time, hair done, smile practiced. You still say good morning even when no one says it back. Because that's who you are. And because you know if you stopped, the whole office would feel it. They just wouldn't say it. You know the drill now. You don't flinch when 5 lines ring at once. You can buzz someone in, print a packet, reroute a call, and talk down a panicked client, all before your second cup of coffee. You've developed a sixth sense for disaster. You can hear it in the tone of a voice, the pace of a walk, the look someone gives as they approach your desk. You're not guessing anymore? You know what's coming. And that's the problem. Because knowing everything, how to manage it all, how to anticipate the needs of a dozen people who barely know your name, means you've become invisible. You're no longer the new, bubbly hire. You're just part of the furniture, part of the expectation. You carry the entire emotional atmosphere of the office, and no one even realizes it. You're the person they come to when the copier jams, when the new intern doesn't show, when the client's upset and no manager wants to take the heat. You're the one who smooths over missed appointments, reschedules meetings, and preps the room like nothing ever went wrong. And you don't complain, because you've learned that complaining makes you difficult. That silence is survival. You've mastered the art of passive strength, of looking calm while everything breaks behind the scenes. You've become fluent in fake laughter. You can take a condescending comment and make it sound like small talk. You can defuse tension before it explodes and be thanked with a nod, if at all. You've stopped waiting for recognition, because now you understand. Your role is to keep things running, not to be seen doing it. But that quiet mastery comes with a cost. You carry it all home. The microaggressions, the guilt, the stress from everyone else's mistakes. You're expected to be the receptionist, the admin, the scheduler, the emotional sponge, and still look put together doing it. There's no room for burnout in your position, because if you break down, no one's replacing you. They'll just shift the weight, pretend the structure's fine, and let the cracks spread. You've seen it happen. You've stayed late without overtime, covered holidays without a thank you, held the door open with tears in your eyes because you had to finish the front desk report before your grandmother's funeral. And when you finally took a sick day, they acted like the office fell apart. Like you were the problem for not being there to hold it all together. You've given them everything: patience, appearance, time. And in return, you've received stability, not growth, not opportunity, just the promise that if you keep showing up, you'll still have to keep showing up. The rhythm is familiar now. But familiarity doesn't mean fulfillment. It just means you've learned how to survive something no one sees you suffering through. You've stopped pretending there's a ladder. Years pass. Your name's still not on any internal memos. You're still not invited to strategy meetings. You're still the first face people see, but the last one they think about when it's time for raises, promotions, recognition. They say you're essential, but they treat you like a placeholder. You train new hires now. Younger women, fresh-faced, energetic, asking questions you already know won't lead anywhere. You teach them how to phrase things politely, how to say absolutely, when what you really mean is hell no, how to take a rude comment and smile through it without swallowing your dignity too hard. Some of them leave after a year, some last a few months, some say they're just here until they figure things out. But you've already figured things out. This is it. You don't even ask about advancement anymore. You've learned how that conversation goes. We value you, or we're restructuring right now, or you're just so good at your current role. Translation: stay where you are. You've become too reliable to move forward? Meanwhile, the office around you shifts. New departments grow, junior staff get promoted. The guy in IT who started after you is now a manager. The sales rep who always forgot to spell your name right on emails now has a company car and a corner office. You're still front desk. You've mastered a job that doesn't evolve. You've hit the ceiling, except no one told you when you passed it. The work still demands everything: the face, the patience, the silence. But the rewards stopped changing a long time ago. And the pay? You don't even want to look at it anymore. Especially when you realize the guy 2 doors down, who just clicks through Excel all day, makes twice what you do for half the emotional labor. It stings. Not just the money, but the message. That you can hold a workplace together, soften the sharp edges of other people's bad days, save a meeting with a single rescheduled call, and still be invisible. Worse than invisible? Expected. Expected to stay late. Expected to smile. Expected to cover when someone else drops the ball, but never expected to rise above your desk. And now, the where shows. You're tired in places you didn't know could be tired. Your voice carries a stiffness from too many polite corrections. Your posture changes. Shoulders forward, eyes watchful, body always braced for the next interruption. You're not angry. Not exactly, just quietly eroded. You used to think you'd outgrow this role, move up, do something more. But now, you're not even sure what that would be. Your resume says receptionist. And even though you've done 100 jobs in one, you know how the world reads that word, and suddenly, the title feels more like a sentence than a position. You've been here so long, you move without thinking. The drawer with the paper clips, the tone you use for difficult clients, the smile you put on when someone walks in late, flustered, looking for someone who's never where they say they'll be. You're a reflex machine, precise, polished, practiced, but that doesn't mean you're numb. You feel everything, every time someone forgets your name. Every moment your input isn't asked for, but your effort is expected. Every time someone breezes by your desk mid-conversation like you're just background noise. You're the voice of the company on the phone, the first impression in person, but not once have you felt like the heart of anything. It's a strange kind of exhaustion, not physical, not even emotional really. It's identity fatigue. You've lived so long as the front desk girl that you've started to lose track of the version of you that didn't answer to that. The part that used to want more, that used to see this as temporary. That thought maybe one day they'd notice all the things you did quietly, the fires you put out, the calm you maintained, the dignity you held on to even when it wasn't returned. But the recognition never came. Because that's the truth. People only notice receptionists when they're missing. The one day you're out sick, the whole building stumbles. No one can find the schedule. No one knows where the packages go. Clients don't get greeted. Meetings don't get confirmed. Suddenly, everyone realizes how much you were holding up. But even then, it's not gratitude. It's panic. They need you, not because they see you, but because they never learned how to function without you. You were the invisible system, and now your absence is louder than your presence ever was. You used to think that if you worked hard enough, stayed long enough, smiled wide enough, you'd earn something more. Now you know. Receptionists don't get promoted, they get replaced. And someday, when your patience runs out or your health gives in or you finally realize you deserve peace more than approval, someone younger will sit in your chair. She'll ask you how you did it, and you'll want to tell her to run. But instead, you'll smile, because that's what you've always done. You've been the glue, the gatekeeper, the guard dog, the grace. You've made other people's days easier at the cost of your own, and when the office lights turn off one last time behind you, there probably won't be applause. No send-off, no legacy, just an empty desk. And that's why it sucks to be a receptionist.